The NASDAQ, everything and more has been completely wiped out.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
That next morning after Liz said to me, you know, you got to go get a job, I went for my morning run. It was at 4:30 in the morning. I ran from my house to the Santa Monica beach. I got to the edge of the water, the big full moon looking down. And I just remember we had a kid on the way, our first son. And I remember thinking to myself, I have no idea what I'm going to do right now. And I got on my knees, I said a prayer. I got up and I started running home. And on my run home, I had this inspiration of honesty and brokerage. So I got to my house, I Googled honest broker, honesty, brokerage, nothing came up under anything. And I said, this is crazy. How come no one's willing to kind of put their, like their whole value system on the line and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it in an honest way. And this idea came about of how do we do this business that can be gray at times in a black and white way. Hi, I'm Chris Sands, and I'm the CEO and founder of Sands Investment Group. So I've been fortunate to have my parents, who have been married for 53 years now and have had 7 kids. My dad was always focused on being the best you can be, pushing yourself. And I think from that sort of hard work mindset, it really taught me if you want something in life, you got to go for it. My mom was one of 8 kids. And she is definitely a woman who has this unbelievable patience and simplicity about her life. But she really embodies this wisdom that I find that so many people go out and seek reading and all these different things. And she reads, she's an avid reader, but she's got an unbelievable prayer life. And so she's really taught me about slowing down, being simple, and just appreciating the value of family. And recognizing that life isn't about what you accomplish, but it's about who you are and the person that you could make a difference in other people's lives. There was a tennis coach, his name was Chris Anderson. And Chris was one of my first kind of core tennis coaches, if you will, when I was starting out in tennis. At a very early age, it inspired me to play up, if you will. After I got done playing professional tennis, I would teach tennis lessons in Northern California, but it was Silicon Valley. And it was not far after the dot-com bubble that kind of happened. And so I would, fresh off the tour, and I'd have all these high net worth people would come in from different parts of Northern California. And so this one client, his name was Larry Solomon, said to me, Chris, I could tell the questions you ask, and I could tell the way that we speak, that you don't want to be doing this the rest of your life. In fact, in the near future or somewhere in the future, you're going to be a guy my age and you want to be able to have somebody else running around after tennis balls. And so Larry said, follow your passion, but find it in something other than tennis. And I came up with sort of 5 things that I identified that were the core, like legend, if you will, of what I thought would bring fulfillment in my future career or vocation. I wanted to do something where it was one in which that if you worked really hard, you didn't have to like work your way up this like food chain and be in this like 20 years from now, I could become the X of something because of that. Number 2 was I wanted to have something that I was learning about a skill set that created the capability of having a passive income or a passive leverage type income situation. The third thing was I wanted to do something where I was interacting with people because I love people and I love human beings. And I think that we're all created in this beautiful way. So I wanted to kind of have this environment where I can meet people, learn from people, and grow and create that network. The fourth thing I wanted to do was that I wanted to do something where I could make my own schedule. And the last thing is I never wanted to wear a suit. Well, obviously that didn't work so well, right? But for the most part now, I don't wear a suit when I don't need to. And I had one of my tennis lessons say, listen, I own these buildings over here and I can take these lessons at 11:15 every day. And that's why, because they pay for your tennis lesson. And I'm like, well, that's really cool. And then a couple other really divine moments where another mentor of mine was like, listen, don't go to business school, learn through osmosis, get into commercial real estate. It'll teach you everything you want to know about how to be smart and savvy in terms of life and business, if you will. And so to get to your question of like, why did we start SIG and what does it stand for a little bit? And what was the real inception or impetus behind the birth of the company was in 2008. I remember the market started to change.
With which we are watching this market deteriorate. We're red everywhere, essentially, down by 4-5%.
Because we're now down 43%.
And we went from having unbelievable success. I was one of the top retail brokers in the country. I was ranked in one of the top brokers within our office, and it was kind of building up my book of business, if you will. and the market changed. And what I felt like every morning I woke up was I loved brokerage in terms of meeting clients and building rapport and doing my job to help take them from challenges to success or to get through those and to help them build what they wanted to get to. But what I found was that the environment that I was in wasn't one in which it fostered collaboration or teamwork. It wasn't one in which it fostered like a real emphasis on honesty and integrity all the time, no matter what. As I started to look out into the commercial real estate world, I found that it was definitely an environment in which the clients and the principals in the market have a perception at times that like we're in it for ourselves and we're only trying to do what we can to kind of get a deal sold at all costs. And brokers by nature can sometimes have a tendency to have a bit of a generalization that, we're just salespeople or whatever that might be. And I really wanted to redefine that. I really wanted to turn that whole idea and put it on its head and say, listen, what if we came at this whole business from this concept of honesty or integrity or this concept of value-based and teamwork and coming from a mindset that together we could do more. And so that was the impetus of the Honest Broker. You can be a great person, you can serve your clients, and you can have massive success in this business. And you can go to bed every single night knowing that you did it in a way where you're really proud of the career that you created, rather than just being like, oh, I made a ton of money, but how many tombstones have I created or how much warfare have I created behind me? And to me, I would never want to have that, to have a success in career, but know that I had so many casualties behind it. And so that was really the impetus and why we got it started.